Hello my loves, I'm Ellie Frost. Thank you so much for being on my channel where I'm talking about the multidimensional approach to healing, right? From specifically narcissistic abuse, trauma, and transforming into our most authentic sovereign version of self in order to create our most fulfilling lives now. I call my approach multidimensional because I take us holistically in terms of our spirituality, our energetic field, our emotional body, our mental, psychological body, and our physical health, right? I take all aspects of ourselves and I call that multidimensional. But there was a comment on the channel, I'm not laughing, am I laughing at it? I'm laughing at it because I was a little bit confused about it to start with, that said, this woman is just new age. I cannot be here for this. And I wanted to explore that, right? Because one, I don't really jump on any bandwagons. I'm a channel, right? I've been able to help people create for a very long time extraordinary things in their life because I've had the ability to tune into what's holding them back and help them transmute the energy. I'm a natural energy healer. I've healed my body several times of chronic disease. And I have been able to intuitively really know how to do that. I'm very spiritually attuned. I'm very connected. You know, I would call that a divine connection that's enabled me to have certain gifts, which I also believe everyone can open up their gifts. That we're all gifted. We've all got access to the truth, which is a multidimensional universe. There's nothing, you know, God gave me my gifts. There are darker forces on the planet, and God also lines up people and you in order to be able to expand your own gifts, right? So that we're more than what we've been taught we are. That's what I truly believe, that we all have the ability to open up our intuition, our ability to kind of accelerate our senses, yeah, and use our energy to heal ourselves and each other. But I never jumped on any particular bandwagon. I just trusted my truth. And the reason a lot of the time when the people that do resonate with me resonate is because I'm talking soul to soul. It's a soul truth. Right? It's not something you necessarily question when I say things and they land, because it is your deeper wisdom that I'm actually talking to. Yeah? It's the one that knows inside of you. It's the part of you that really knows, right? And that just becomes easy to then land in without needing to be convinced, because there's a deeper wisdom in you, an ancient wisdom actually. I definitely know that I channel a lot of ancient wisdom, which I wouldn't call it new age because I don't think it's new age. I think it's ancient wisdom that we've actually known from the beginning of time, but we've sometimes stamped out, especially in the Western world. That's what I would call it. But I wanted to look this up, right, so I understood what new age means, because I'd never have necessarily classed myself as that, but honestly I didn't look too much at what that meant. So new age, let's see. I'm not sure why, you know, again, let's have a look. You can let me know what your opinions of this is, because every new age, let's look at definition, because I just looked this up. I could be this actually, but I'm not sure what's wrong with it. So new age, a broad movement characterized by alternative approaches to traditional Western culture with an interest in spirituality, mysticism, holism and environmentalism. So mysticism is talking about spiritual knowledge. And certain things that I'm not sure if that does apply to me. Holism, I don't know. Holism, it says, the theory that parts of the whole are an intimate interconnection. They cannot exist independently of the whole. I mean, I do believe we're all interconnected, so there's some truth in that. And environmentalism, concern about action aimed at protecting the environment. I'm not really sure I count as that in that definition, but I certainly know that I speak wisdom and spiritual truth, right? And that you'll notice in what I teach, again, why it can feel true is because it's coming from love. There's no agenda in it other than, yes, I do think we're all interconnected. I do think we're together. I don't think I actually fall into that category. I wouldn't have called it new age because I definitely feel like I channel ancient wisdom. I'm talking to your soul. I'm talking to the part of you that is divine, that knows beyond this human experience. I do believe in certain things, but I would say it's quite unique. So I wouldn't classify myself as that. There may be some things that I overlap in, and I'm not quite sure what the offence of it is. But certainly this is ancient wisdom. This is spiritual truth. This is this is something that we tap into, that we know inside of us. The reason, like, it will feel to some people like a breath of fresh air when I speak, because I'm talking to the part of you that knows, that isn't limited, that is connected, that it's a deeper truth inside of us, a wisdom and a loving one. You know, everything I teach is about really the collective. Is the greater good for us all, but we've misunderstood what that means, and we sometimes think it's about overgiving or sacrificing ourselves, which is not love. So I do talk about definition of love, I do talk about spiritual principle, I do talk about connection with ourselves, with the divine and with each other, but in a way that's actually, I believe, how it was meant to be, how it's meant to be, what is most loving overall, not causing this distortion and imbalance on the planet, which I believe, I know, is a spiritual distortion. Narcissism is a spiritual sickness before it's any kind of personality disorder. A personality, you know, someone made a comment the other day about one of the videos I made and how it was helping them, because it was talking about, I think it was one on the narcissist knows what they're doing. People that are diagnosed with personality disorders, if you think of something like ADHD or bipolar, those kind of things, a lot of people with those disorders will be responsible for them, right? They will be aware of them and be working on their impact on other people. And narcissists are under no illusion about what they're doing to people, and they're not willing to work on it. They enjoy it. It's intentional. So with a personality disorder, people see it as some kind of dysfunction that they're trying to correct, right? That they're trying, it's an imbalance. Everything's an imbalance. To be honest, a lot of what people call disorders, I think, are actually quite a probably like a natural response to a society that's imbalanced, you know, because we are not honouring our emotional bodies, and that can only go one way on the planet. That's not good for people, because your entire experience of life is your emotional experience. So when you don't have room for people's emotions, how they actually feel, then one, they can't self-actualize because they're disconnected from self, and two, you get distortions on the planet, which is what's going on. I do believe empathy would heal the world, because when you can see yourself in another, then all the separation changes. People wouldn't do things in the same way, and they would care about the whole. I don't think we're doing well as a society when there's such extremes in our society that are unnecessary, right? So we're going through evolution on the planet, and sometimes as we evolve, we hit a kind of point where we've gone too far in one aspect, maybe, right? So I wouldn't describe myself as New Age, because some of those things I'm not sure that I would say were my focus. I am multidimensional, which means I'm taking into consideration the wholeness. And if you try and deal with something like narcissism on just the level of the mental component, the personality disorder, which, to be honest, to a narcissist isn't a disorder, right? They're actually following the script. That's why they all talk the same way. It's not a personality disorder. They're following the right script. Yeah? They are connected to a consciousness that performs in the same way. The love bombing stage, the hoovering stage, the devaluing, the discarding. Let's do it all again. They know what they're doing, and they are following the script. So it's not a disorder. It's actually doing what it's meant to do, right? If they want to cooperate with narcissism. We think it's a disorder, but they don't see it like that. They see it, they're actually following their script. So it's an imbalance that it's got so out of control. It's not good for evolution, because again, when you're traumatized, your evolution is frozen. I work with clients all the time on trauma release, and like whatever event has caused that trauma literally freezes you in the emotions of that event. So you can improve other areas of your life, but certain things can trigger you and freeze you right back to the emotional reality, no matter what's changed in your life, of that traumatic event, which is what I clear with people, so that you can actually truly evolve. Trauma freezes evolution, and narcissism stops evolution on the planet. So I don't think I really fit into the New Age box. I do have a multidimensional approach, but it is unique. And I guess it is a spiritual teaching in my own body of work. It is my own body of work. And I do also teach you that if parts of what I teach work for you, take them and use them. And if there are parts that you don't like, don't put it in a box and call it New Age or something that it doesn't, if you don't, you don't need to label it. Just decide that you don't need that part, but don't devalue and don't not use everything that I teach you that's good, because some of it will change your life. right? So you are allowed to say that bit works for me, that bit doesn't, but don't stop yourself. You know what I mean? Don't blast out the whole buffet because one bit didn't make sense to you. Take the thing that will change your life, because there's enough goodness here that definitely will. You know what I mean? And I mean, I don't know what this means in terms of someone saying to me, she's just a new age person, and I don't know what that means. I don't think that's what I am. I don't know why that's so offensive if I was, but I don't see it like that at all. I don't even know what it meant, to be honest. Like, I've heard of it, but I don't subscribe to those things. I've got my own way of doing things. I've got my own channel. I've got my own connection, and I've got my own way of cutting the crap and seeing what things really are, right? That I'm working with the divine. My boss is God, not what people think. And I'll carry on being obedient to that, because when I'm not, my life doesn't work out as well. And actually, like, that was what I was meant to do. When I've doubted that, my path doesn't work, you know? And when I choose that, which is what I always wanted to do, it's just sometimes I've done things in my life, again, trying to do probably what you're trying to do, trying to heal people that can't be healed, not seeing the truth of what things are spiritually. And that's led me down the wrong path, yeah? Because until you understand a spiritual context, you don't see the whole picture. And I don't think any of us are going to deny that we're spiritual beings. Like, come on. Like, you really think there's not more to you than just this physical body, this lifetime, that you haven't got a consciousness, that you aren't part of something. You haven't got to subscribe to any one religion or any one thing necessarily, right? But still, for most of us, we've got an awareness that we're more than just something acting out this lifetime, that there's more to us than that. And if you're on the quest for that, to understand yourself on a multidimensional level, then I think that's an exciting journey. And I'm not here to give you a blanket rule. I'm here to let you find your truth in it, your insights, your wisdom, your evolution in it. Yeah, but we can't deny that some things have a very spiritual context, and they actually damage your spiritual self, not just your physical, mental and emotional self, which is hard enough, right? So that's what I wanted to share. I'd like your comments on it, because I don't mean like, you know, I feel okay about it, but I don't mean like just to, I don't mean I'm looking for people to agree with me on this. I'm just looking for like what you think it means, or any insights you have, or whether you come into your spirituality and your truth and people put you in a box and think you're something you don't even know what the definition is, and that's not what it's really about for you, right? I feel like we are here to find our own truth and to connect to ourselves fully in a full self-expression of self and soul, what I call self and soul, which is like to know myself on every level, truly. Free of my conditioning, free of the limitations, free of what society's cast upon me, and actually find who I am beyond that, and then what I wanted to experience and my purpose on the planet, right? And that does involve a connection with more than just the avatar that's here to just like get through life. There is something bigger in all of us. There is a higher connection that we can access if we want to, yeah? And it exists whether you access it or not. It's like another country in the world exists whether you travel to it or not. It exists. There's no doubt about it, right? You don't have to believe in anything other than what you can connect to, and on your journey you get to explore and develop that relationship. But thinking it's like saying, well, no other country exists because I've never been to them. No, there is so many aspects to you. You're a multidimensional being. There's no doubt about that. How you want to explore that and experience that is your evolution and growth, your choice. Yeah, but like I say, there's nothing spiritual about rejecting our human experience. You didn't come to have a human experience to go, I'm just going to be spiritual and not enjoy the things on the planet. No, you came to experience love and eat the food and have the material things. That's why I teach abundance. And, you know, we came for a physical experience, and to deny that a physical experience is spiritual, it doesn't make any sense, because the most spiritual thing is you. You know, whatever religion you are. I know in the Christian Bible, it says, you know, God made man in his image. Yeah? So when you deny your humanity, you deny your divinity. You're 100% both. And so you did come to experience the physical world. There's no need to look down on the physical world. But when we're doing it from divine truth, which is our true desires, which I talk about all the time, not our ego ones, when we're free of the illusion of trying to be validated or feel a spiritual whole with a material thing, but we're actually here because we came for an experience of the physical world, then we're in alignment with our divinity and our humanity. 100% aligned. aligning our divinity and our humanity is what I believe is a big part of what we're meant to do. Not see them as separate and not see one as better than the other. That, you know, I believe God experiences life through you. Yeah? And that was part of the intention, right? And so, like, but we weren't meant to be stuck in suffering. Suffering is not required. Pain is part of the human experience. Suffering, the prolonged suffering that's caused by trauma, is not. And narcissism is a dark entity on the planet that we have to understand fully spiritually to be able to understand how to play in the light, which doesn't look like what you might have been told of making excuses and trying to heal the wrong thing that cannot grow. Most things on the planet, like I keep teaching you, you pour love on, grow. Narcissists won't. They'll just get more destructive. That's not the place to put our love, right? There are many places, though, where it's wanted and needed, and you're going to watch the whole world change when you focus it in a new way on yourself first, and then on what you want to create in the world. So just a little share. Lots of love, guys. I'll speak to you soon.